Hello and welcome back to my channel, April Thrift Art. In today's video, I'm working yet again in my gouache sketchbook, wanting to fill it up, play around with gouache paint. I love the chalky kind of look to it. I love how it moves with water. This is an older painting that I did. I say older, it was done January of this year. And I absolutely adore this painting. I feel like it's one of my better ones. So I wanted to, this is done in acrylic, so I wanted to take this and kind of recreate it, but this time using gouache. So that's what I'm working on today. I may do a little bit mixed media with it, but I just wanted to do it this time, paint the rose in gouache paint and see how that works. I also want to change up the colors just a tad, and yeah. So I really loved the night sky from the painting before. If you watched my previous video, then you know what I'm talking about. And so I am actually going to use the same color for this. I have an idea for a couple of flower paintings that I want to get into. And so I will eventually get there. Oops, my alarm went off. So it's my move alarm that tells me not to sit for too long. Basically, I went into my just normal alarm settings, no joke, took the time to set an alarm for every hour on the hour to remind me to get up and move for 5 minutes, just to kind of keep me going. I obviously doing art at my desk, and where I work at the library, I sit down quite a bit, so I just wanted to make sure that I get up and move. Now, one thing that if you're familiar with gouache, you may be concerned with is why in the world I just painted that background solid, because even when gouache dries, it can be reactivated with water. And I kind of want to try and see how it looks. So I also want to mess around with the fact that it will reactivate with water and kind of create some of these little splotches here. I think those look really pretty. Looks best on the ones that are wet. It's going to do a little bit different up here where it had already started to dry, but I just wanted to kind of do that as well. Now, one thing that I do plan to do is I do plan to go in with my acrylic white and kind of start laying the background for my rose. One of the things that I guess I'm happy with when I do art, so a lot of times like I won't follow the rules. I'm willing to experiment and try new things. Used to, I would not do that. I would not really want to experiment, first of all, because I have like I don't want to waste, that was kind of my mindset. Like I didn't want to waste my art supplies that I had, and so there was kind of this fear of like, oh well, if I do that, then I'm kind of wasting my art supplies, and I don't want to do that because one, they're not cheap. Two, like I had this need for everything to look and be perfect. And thankfully I've kind of started moving away from that and actually enjoy the mess, enjoy the imperfections, and honestly I kind of enjoy the playing around and discovering new things. That willingness to be open in my art, I think that's actually very healing and therapeutic. Is, you know, art's a great way to discover some of the limits that we put on ourselves, how rigid we can be sometimes, how unforgiving we can be sometimes, how demanding of ourselves. It also gives us a chance to explore the things that we really do like, to get a little messy, to be a little different without fear. So, yeah. All right. So when it comes to my gouache selection, not my acrylic gouache, I haven't painted a lot with those. I painted once and realized I hated it. It's not a good experience. But my watercolor gouache, I have here sitting in this little plate. It was a Holbein collection. And so these are the colors that I have. So as far as in terms of the colors that I want, because I would like to kind of not necessarily go for this pinky peachy as much, but I do want to kind of get close to that, just a tad. Unless, you know what? No, I don't. We're going to change it up. We're going to go with yellow, because I love yellow, and I think yellow with the green and the blue would look fabulous on this. So that's what we're doing. Scratch that first statement. We're going at yellow. Yellow, yellow, yellow. I'm going to use these little tubs over here. Now, my thought process behind laying down the acrylic first is that it would give me a barrier, somewhat of a barrier, so hopefully that I don't go too far into the lovely surrounding background there. I was losing my thought process. Now, shout out to Jamise. Jamise, thank you for watching my videos, and thank you for commenting on my previous video. I will go ahead and answer your question here, but I'm also going to respond to you after I get done with this. Anyway, so yes, I kind of have sort of a dedicated space for my art. It's actually in my bedroom. This desk sits at one of my bedroom windows. My bed is currently behind me. Therefore, I totally get the whole thing with the kids, you know, that kind of thing. I have kids, you know that. So yeah, they got to stay out of my stuff, and one way I do that is my art space is in my bedroom. Plus, this window has one of the best lightings in this whole little house. I love it. I would love, like you said, I dream of having a she shed. I have to be careful how I say that because I stumble on S's quite a bit. I dream of having my own art studio space too, that's separate from the house. However, it's still in the same property, because I would love to be able to kind of go to my own space and create and have that dedicated space where I do those things, just for the energy to be there, all that good stuff. So that's a dream. One day I'm going to get there, but for now, my art space is in my room. I have some things put away, and I bring them out whenever I get ready to use them. And then I have some things that I leave out on my desk. So it is kind of cluttered a little bit. I do have to move things out, pull them out, move them around kind of thing quite a bit. It can get frustrating. It can get very annoying. But this is something that feeds my soul. And it's just one of those that once you kind of get in the habit of doing it, you don't really kind of think about it anymore. Actually, we're going to make this one go up. And so then it just becomes automatic, like brushing your teeth or taking a shower or getting up in the morning and knowing like what you got to do to move through the day. And so that is a great question, but yeah, I feel you with the kids and the whole art supplies and that kind of thing. All right, now I'm actually going to take a little bit of this white, and I'm going to mix it in with this darker yellow, and I'm going to start kind of going in with it too. I'll come back to those edges. Another thing that I'm going to have to do with this is there will be some drying time involved, because it does help, especially with gouache, because it likes to blend. In fact, I may actually use a little bit of acrylic yellow as well, give it some extra oomph. So I have this, I went and tried Liquitex Basics acrylic because I saw a lot of people like really liked them, and I'm like, ooh, I want to know for myself. Price point wise, they're way easier on your pocketbook than golden paint. So this little tube of golden paint can range anywhere between $10 to $20 for depending on the color. This was $5 and some change at Michael's. So that kind of thing. Now, I was lucky, I guess. I don't know if you can call it lucky. I had a coupon because I kept shopping at Michael's, so I'm not sure that's lucky. But I got a $5 off coupon, and then they had a 20% off coupon, and so I actually got 2 sizes. I got the, where did they go? I don't know. It's burnt sienna and one other color of golden tubes this size, and I actually got them both for, I think it was around $13, so for the price of one essentially, which was really cool. But I picked up a bunch of these to try them out, and here's the thing that I learned. One, I do like these better than Walmart's version of acrylic paint. I think this has better pigment in it. I like it. One thing I don't like about it though is golden to me is very smooth when you paint with it. This is kind of, oh, I don't want to say it's almost like a clay texture, but it's like I don't know, like it's kind of sluggish to me. And so that does kind of bother me a tad, but I do like it for what it is. And I like the fact that it came in like some really bright, fun, playful colors. So that to me was great, considering I don't really do a whole lot with fun, bright, playful colors. I didn't want to go spending like, you know, $10 to $20 a tube for Golden's version just yet. Now I will say this, and I found this and I like it. At first when I was on a really tight budget, and don't get me wrong, I'm still on a budget, and a tight one too, but I would try to buy cheaper paints. And one thing that I found is that with cheaper paints, I ended up using more. And in the long run, like I was actually spending probably just about the same, if not more money, trying to buy cheaper paints and having to replace them constantly. When I switched over to Golden, like I said, a little more expensive of a paint, it lasts longer. Like it just does. Like one of those tubes, this one, I've had this tube, and this is a white. You use a ton of white, or I do anyway. I've had this tube for over a year, and there's still some paint in there. I keep squeezing it out, if you can tell. Like that's me just like still going in it. This Mars Black, this was the only golden black paint that I had at the time. And like I've got this one around the same time I bought this one from St. Louis Art Supply. And like I said, this was over a year ago, probably almost 2 years now. They last quite a while. So when you get the chance to invest or get coupons and stuff, I would say get the better paint. You will have a lot of fun with the quality because it does make a difference. You will have a lot of fun with the texture, how it feels. So, but it's also something like you have to kind of experience for yourself. So there's that. Take that with a grain of salt. Do your thing. Do what makes you happy. Some people like the Professional Liquitex brand. I'm going to stay being a golden girl. Ha ha. Did you see what I did there? If you know me, you know I love me some Betty White. Who doesn't? I saw the funniest meme the other day that said, we have to start thinking about the world that we're leaving behind for Betty White. And I love that. So yeah, I'm gonna be a golden girl. All right, I think I want to darken it up now a little bit more, just a tad bit. So what I'm gonna do is I'm going to actually mix this medium or permanent yellow deep, and instead of white this time, actually no, instead of, I'm gonna take my gouache black. I'm gonna darken it up that way. My ivory black. Practice proper mixing of the colors. That was a terrible accent. Forgive me. I have decided, and some of you may be utterly opposed to this, but I have decided that when it comes to editing, my unedited my unedited video vlog did really, really well. And I also was reading this one article by a YouTuber, and he said that he quit spending hours and hours editing his videos, because it does take quite a while to edit, and just started making more videos. Like, instead of spending hours, he would actually just make more videos. And so that's what I'm going to kind of start doing. Is that, not that like I have a problem with editing, but I think I would rather spend my time making videos. And so that's what I'm going to do. More time painting, more time making videos, more time doing what I love. And like I said, y'all seem to really enjoy the last one that I did that was unedited. So, and you'll get me, the real me, the raw footage of me, where I make terrible puns and bad jokes like Golden Girls, that kind of thing. And you'll have to hear my craziness. And then you can decide if you still want to watch the crazy. So I want to kind of just loosen up some of these strokes a little bit, some of these flower petals a little bit, make them kind of bloom just a tad. I'm going to lighten that up a little. Now, I could take a different size brush, but really today I just want to play with this one brush. I'm going to pause that, working with that for a minute, and I'm going to let some of this kind of dry just a tad while I start engaging the rest of my painting. Somehow, some way. Hey. Alright, so for the rest of it, I do want to work with a little bit of green. Obviously, those leaves I want to be green. So I'm going to try this lighter color, Permanent Green Light, because it was between this or Permanent Green Deep. And I know we all like getting deep around here. That was bad too, wasn't it? Yeah, sorry about that. I don't even know what I was going with that. I think I was going insightful, but deep as in insightful. Get your mind out of the gutter. Anyway. Oh, here we go. I'm like trying, like, if you can, I'll show you just a minute. So this is the color that I put. I mixed it in this one. This one is that black and dark yellow. This one is a mixture of the dark yellow, the Naples, Liquitex yellow, a little bit of black, a little bit of white, and then that light green. So, oh, here. Sorry, you couldn't see that. So I'm just playing around with, like I said, different colors and trying it out. Now I'm going to add some little splotches to make them look like little leaves kind of dancing around. Give it some movement in this background a little bit more. I kind of like these water drops. They almost like have like a rain vibe to me. And then I'm going to make some that are a little more cared for, a little more defined. just a tad. Get them in there. And like I said, really just having fun with it. I think that's the most important thing with art. If we can just kind of go back to that childlike fun with it, then it can be very, very therapeutic, and just we can explore it more. So I did get some questions on why I started a blog. In case you didn't know, my blog, actual blog, is aprilthriftart.wordpress.com. It is a free blog site. So I started blogging because what I've noticed was that YouTube helps me be consistent and really kind of keep painting and getting out there and doing more kind of thing. And that's great and that's wonderful and I love it. The blog part itself, I think, is going to help me kind of analyze and dig deeper with my art. Why am I painting the things that I do? Why am I drawn to certain colors more than others? That kind of thing. That's my hope. We'll see if I can get that deep with it. Oh, I brought that back. Ha. Okay. So, yeah. We'll see how that goes. But anyway. So, yeah, that's why I started the blog, because I want to just kind of talk about my art more and analyze it and, you know, kind of really look at it deeper and think about what I'm doing and why I'm doing it and kind of giving space for that. Now I'm going to, some of you may be freaking out, I'm going to go back in with some more yellows at this point. I just wanted to kind of get that in there. Get some various light hitting it. Get some more movement in there. Just using the same colors, just various tints and shades and all that stuff. So just to kind of add some depth and dimension and color and just hopefully a lot of beauty and all that good stuff. And I'm kind of going to go back in a little bit in the center, just a tad, and kind of darken some things up there. And then I want to go kind of dipping back into my colors here. I'm going to grab a little black and add it to that green, darken that up, and I want to kind of add a little more depth and dimension to my leaves here. All right, I'm going to give that a little bit of time to dry and see kind of what happens and kind of clean out my water. Hello, I'm back. This time I have my coffee in hand and this is almost dry. There's still a few wet spots. That's okay. I want to get to working anyway. because that's how I roll. So what I want to start working on now is I kind of want those little white dots. So even though I said I was going to stick just with this brush, we're going with the small one because I don't want really big white dots. I want the small ones. Do you feel me? I also just got done, as I was waiting for this to dry, I was drinking some coffee, watching some YouTube videos from other YouTubers. I went ahead, I mentioned Jamise earlier, and I went ahead and checked out her YouTube channel because I went to respond to her comment and realized, like, oh, she's got a YouTube. And so I checked out her YouTube. Holy crap, it's good. Makes me regret saying that I'm not going to edit my videos. Oh, hers looks so professional. I'm going to stay in my lane, though, because that's not my forte right yet. But you go, girl. That looked good. That looked real good. And it was really interesting because when I was reading that Think Like a Monk book, it was talking about this study over the college boys and girls, women, that would journal about past traumas for 15 minutes every morning and how healing it was, and how basically like they had fewer trips to the doctor afterwards and, you know, felt better and all that stuff. And so I've been kind of practicing that on my own, and this morning a couple of things popped up that were related to like past traumas, that were related to like being a female and female body parts and stuff like that. I'm not going to get into that. That's my business. But point being, I thought it was very interesting that the video that I landed on one of hers was about female like womb traumas and stuff like that. And I'm just like, oh, I don't know if Siri and Google have advanced to reading my mind per se. I think they have, because I didn't journal about mine on the computer, and I don't tell anybody, but sure enough, that's what popped up. So hey, or as some people would like to say, thank you, Spirit, whatever guidance it is, I'm all for it. Still a little creepy sometimes, though. All right, so this is what I got. Let me kind of look it over real quick, see if there's anything else I want to add to it. I'm kind of digging it the way that it is. Love these water spots. I think I want to kind of do that more in the future and just kind of play around with that more. Not on every painting, of course, but I do like it. I like the petals. I like the kind of, it's almost like they're flying in the wind. It's a tornado, and like here's the hail and here's the snow. No, I'm kidding. That's not what this is. So let's do my favorite part, and let's see how this bad boy looks. Yeah. You know, it's that time. It's that time. I love this part. Being able to take off the tape. It's great. This is the part that I'm kind of worried about. You know what? Not bad. I was kind of worried that like how much I'd painted on the tape and then it may be looking kind of weird, but I think it looks pretty good. It's almost like a window. A window to my soul. Scratch that. Looks like a window. All right, and that is definitely one of my children coming into my bedroom. So that means that I've got to wrap up this video. So I'm gonna sign this as soon as I find my pen real quick. Let's see. Oh my goodness. Here's a pen, and it's green. Let me test it out real quick. I gotta make sure this works. It works. I'm gonna sign it on the painting right here. Perfect. I like it. I'm gonna put the date. I'm just gonna put 10/20. Love it, love it, love it. I hope you enjoyed today's video. I hope it inspires you to be loose and have fun and play with your paints and your art supplies. All right, I like this a lot. I hope you do too. See you next time. Bye, everybody. If you enjoyed this video, please take a moment and hit that subscribe button.